Welcome, everyone, to Pommyinoz. I'm joined by a guy that has literally people have hounded my inbox for. I've got the lovely Swoop Luke. How you doing, Cobber?
Yeah, not too bad, Pom. And yourself, mate?
Oh, I can't complain. I nearly died over the last couple of days. I had what was supposedly COVID. Turned out to just be super duper man flu, but I'm still here. I had 2 COVID tests, though, to prove it. But apart from that,
Jeez.
I'm ready for Christmas.
I know, only a couple of days away, or when this goes up. But yeah, I can't wait. I just want to finish work and I want to sleep. And just have a break, man. I'm keen. It's been a long year.
It's been a long year. Well, what we're doing today is we're trying to make a dream team out of Carlton and Collingwood, which should be an interesting exercise.
Yeah, it should be pretty good. So you just put all 22 Collingwood players in and call it a day. So we should be done soon, right?
I was going to say that's a minute 20 in the bank. Just got to talk crap for 9 minutes to monetize it. But I mean, we'll see how we go. So we'll start off with the backline. So the rules of this game are simple. We're allowed to save one player. So there will be a pie and a Carlton player representing each line. We'll try and get to the end with a bit of debate and make a dream team. What are we going to call them? Carlington Wood? That sounds pretty good.
There's a hockey team in Canada called the Collingwood Blues.
I thought that's what you guys felt after a final.
Fuck yeah! Do you remember what finals taste like, or?
I'm not aware there's any football played in September. I thought the season ends. Well, here we are. Let's look at your horrible lot. So this is the tasty backline you've brought in. So tell me a bit about them and tell me which one you're going to save.
First off, what a good-looking backline. So we'll start off. So there's a nice 7 in the back. Jeremy Howe, Jordan Roughhead, Maynard, Crisp, Moore, IQ, and Noble. You could pretty much, I want to say more than one. But look, our backline isn't too bad. It's airy on the side of a little bit too old with Ruffy in his 30s and Howie in his 30s. Howie's played, I think, 8 games in 2 seasons with his injuries and stuff. Crisp has been a revelation since coming from Brisbane. Maynard, the Bull. Look, I'm gonna have to save. It's not even a question about it. I'm gonna have to save Darcy Moore.
No surprise. I mean, it would probably be a guy that I would have probably had in my backline as well.
Yeah, all Australian as well. So we need at least one All Australian in the backline.
I've got to say, Noble's hair though, probably not what I'd advise if I was ginger.
No, it looks really orange. I think he's more blonde than that. Kind of it looks like Carrot Top.
I was going to say, did Pom do something in editing? Did he? Or did he not? Answers in the comments.
He looks like every bad guy in a Dan Brown movie.
Well, I mean, these are the boys that we're up against. And, I mean, you're talking about hair. These guys, some good facial hair in this lot as well. Some real good facial hair. But obviously, we got Wheater in. We know he's the best defender in the competition. So, no surprises who I'm saving. But then we've got Brodie Kemp. We've got Jordan De Goey's best mate, Lockie Plowman. Adam Sard, as we know, superstar, speedster. Nick Newman. The baby Lewis Young. And the lovely Sam Doherty, the mercurial captain, legend that is. I mean, obviously, I'm saving Wheater in here because I think that makes our spine supreme anyway, more than Wheater in.
Yeah, 100%. I would have done the exact same thing.
Is there anyone there while you look that you think, I wish he was a pie?
Probably Wadering. Especially with, like I said, with Roughhead. Look, Sard maybe, but we kind of have that run. I didn't even know half these guys. Lewis Young is the new kid, right, from the Doggies?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's the new Liam Jones.
Brodie Kemp, I've never seen in my whole entire life. That's a new face. That's a new face to me. But look, Adam Sard, Doherty, of course. Captain Courageous, isn't he?
He is, yeah, and He's just finished his chemo and he's back training with the boys. So we wish him all the best. And I'm sure, even though Luke's a pie, he can't wait to see him tear him up on the park.
Oh no, 100%. When he gets possession against us, I'll definitely be applauding him. But to do what he's done after all that adversity, phenomenal. I couldn't even. I'd just be a mess and a wreck. But yeah, credit to him and all you fans and the club for getting around him.
So, who on the pies here would you be saying is a lock to come in?
Jack Crisp or Braden Maynard. It depends. Like Crisp can push into that midfield spot that we've seen a lot of towards the end of last year. He can run hard. Good off the half back line, obviously. But the same like Braden Maynard, you'd follow him into a line of war. You know, he'd do anything for the jersey that he wears. Head over the ball. Plays leaves nothing to be to the imagination. So if I had to pick one more, it's so hard. Out of those two, I'd probably go Braden Maynard, to be honest. What about yourself?
I've got to say, the two that really do strike out at me was Crispy, because he always seems to batter us when we play, and he's a little fantasy gun. I'm also a huge fan on Quaynor, I've got to say. He's a kid that we draft previewed, and I knew he was going to go to you guys, but I was a huge fan when he was drafted, and I like his energy. There's something about him that I like.
Yeah, he brings a lot of pizzazz to the team, like especially off the halfback. If you see him running down, he always looks for that quick step to kind of, you know, throw it off and break a couple of ankles as well. And yeah, I love IQ so much. Still a little bit young, a little bit more to learn. So that's why I've opted for Bruzzy in this.
You know what? I'm happy to bring Maynard and Crisp in. I'm happy to bring them in because I do think Carlton's backline in the small probably does lack them. I do think, though, that Doc and Sard need to be in this team. We've got pace, and I think Doc and Maynard's ability to control would make it formidable. I don't know what you think about that.
Look, I obviously, admittedly, I don't watch a lot of Carlton games. Is the thing that Collingwood don't really have is that we got Maynard does the job well, and some others when they rotate through the back pocket, that one-on-one sort of defending. Is Doc that one-on-one defender, or is he more a peel off like Darcy or like Crisp?
He's probably more like the Crisp type player here. He's the accumulator looking to get the rebound. We want the ball in his hand. I'd say our lockdown, believe it or not, because you've probably never seen it at Collingwood, because he usually has a horrible game. Is Lockie Plowman. He's our one-on-one maestro.
Yeah, very interesting. I wouldn't have him in my team.
I was going to say there was no way I was getting Plowman in this team, because I think every time he plays you guys, he has a week off.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. He's he gets a bath, doesn't he? At least he's clean by the end of the game.
Well, I was going to say it's usually he reserves his worst game just for you guys. So I mean, you might have him in there just purely because of a thank you. Really, he probably deserves it. But no, I agree. So, I mean, our backline, I think, is looking pretty tasty with them names. I mean, at the moment, we've got Wheater in more, Maynard, Crisp, Sards. We need a lockdown, though. Who would you say is your major lockdown there?
I think Jeremy Howe does a really good job as lockdown, only because he wouldn't be classified really as a one-on-one. And look, that's the thing with Collingwood. Levi Greenwood did a good job when he went down to the back pocket. Roughhead is really good one-on-one, but with Wiedering and more in this back line, you don't put a roughie in. Quaynor's more a halfback. Noble's even more of a halfback. It's hard. Maynard is probably our best one-on-one defender. Yeah,
I mean, I think how. Yeah. I'd be happy to have Howe
Yeah,
in this side, to be
no,
fair.
definitely.
I do think that when it comes to small personnel, if we're building a team, that probably looks good. So, I mean, this is the template we've got. We've got Weir in Moore. We've got legends there, Maynard, Crisp, Sard, Doc, and Hal. That's a pretty formidable
I
backline.
think that actually looks really good.
It does. I mean, I think that would compete, wouldn't it? I mean, Wheater in and Moore would be a piss take, would it not?
Oh, no goals will get scored by the opposition.
I mean,
And
we could play with them two there.
yeah, with the way that Darcy Moore peels off, and look, I give Terry shit about it a lot, but Wiedering is a good defender. Not all Australian yet, well, maybe one day, but he's really good, and I'd love him in my team, and I'm sure 17 other clubs would love him in their team, and I think it's just we've got a really good mix in that backline. Just looking at it now.
Well, there's a lot of pace. There's a lot of good ball use. There's a bit of maturity, interceptability. I mean, like you say, Wheatering and Moore, I think if they did request a trade, they'd have 17 contracts on the table, wouldn't they?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And Wiedering was number 1 pick, wasn't he, as well? So that
he was, yeah. He was first cab off the rank for the Mighty Blues.
Yeah. Nah, I think that's a dare I say it, a finals winning backline.
It would win flags. I think with that back line, like I say, you and me could play back pocket and we'd still win by 20 goals. So let's look where the engine room. This is probably going to be the greatest debate because both sides have got some new faces in it as well. So take us through this midfield.
All right. So Joshy Dacos, Buckley played him at half forward, and he wasn't any good there. He was out of position. He did his best work in the midfield. Lipinski, the good-looking rooster from the Bulldogs, will probably fit into a wing for us this season. DeGoey, question marks if he's going to play at all this season, but for all intents and purposes, he's done for this hypothetical. He's an absolute angel, and all he does on the weekend is high tea with his nieces and nephews. Scott Pendlebury, of course. What else can you say about the GOAT? Adams, Sidebottom rounding it off, and your boy Nicholas, the Beatle, better than the Beatles, Dacos.
He's a very good footballer. He's Nick. we are looking forward to seeing the little scamp run out. Who's the guy there that you would say is a no-brainer?
So are we going off their peak, or are we going off 2021?
We're doing it as if we're going into this season, picking a team to win finals.
You can't look. I'd love to say Dacos straight up, but 18-year-old, haven't really seen what he's like against AFL boys. I can't go past Scott Pendlebury. I know that's just my heart picking that one, but I can't go. Excuse me. I can't go past him as a lock.
I think it's fair. I'm a big fan of Pendles. I think rivalry aside, there is no argument that kid can find space in a crowded elevator.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's why he's obviously we talk about it all the time, but his ability to slow down the game and his footy IQs are just insane. And the thing that I like about Pendlebury as well is we might see him on the halfback and Crispy and Quaynor through it in this hypothetical team. He can interchange with Crisp, or he can swap with Sard as well, because I'm sure Sard goes into the middle sometimes as well. So he gives us that quarterback role if he lines up in the halfback line.
It'd be great, I'd say as well, to see Sammy Walsh learn off the master.
Yeah.
The master at finding space when there is no space. No, I like that. And I'm glad you didn't say John DeGoey, because he is a sniff of a bar mat away from doing 25 to life, isn't he, really? So,
oh, my God.
I kept it clean. I could have been a lot worse. Well, here's the boys going up against them. And I think I actually look at this and I do nurse a semi, because it's the first time I've looked at a Carlton midfield and gone, these guys are a bit good, They're a bit good. Well, we've obviously got Patty Cripps, the wrecking ball, half man, half machine. We got Matt Kennedy there. We got George Hewitt, new recruit. And rivaling Lipinski, model good looks and blue steel, Adam Chera, he's got a fair face on him, hasn't he?
He does. He does. What a good signing. What an absolute good signing.
And then we go to if you'd say that you had supermodel chic in Adam Chera, we'd go to hobo chic in Zach Williams. Zach Williams looks like the kind of guy that if he had a bath, he'd still be dirty. But I do love Zach Williams. I do love him. Good surname. We've got the best player in football, Sam Walsh, and the most underrated player in football, Ed Kerno.
Is that Ed Kerno? I thought that was Sideshow Bob.
He's got a bit of wacky hair there, eh? They've done him no favours in that player profile picture.
None at all.
That is the Tinder profile picture of a married man. That is, I can tell you, I feel him. But obviously, the one guy I'm going to save here, and I'm going to do what I did with True Footy here, a little bit of intelligence, because I know there's one player on this list you can't argue with. I'm going to go with Patrick Cripps as the guy that I'm saving. I'm bringing in our captain with your captain. I think we need a wrecking ball. We need to be able to market ourselves to WA as well. And he's probably one of the best looking players in football. I mean, that guy's physique is insane.
Oh, look, man, I do like the way Cripps goes about it, and different sort of adversity to obviously what Doc went through, but to carry, that's why all that shoulder strapping on to carry you guys through every game, and you can tell that he's the type of guy, kind of like Taylor Adams, kind of like Braden Maynard, that will just pick guys up by the scruff of their neck and carry them over the line, and that's exactly what you need. Football, for lack of a better term, football is a war of attrition, and you need these warriors to carry you over the line, and we've seen it time and time again with Cripps.
Oh, to be fair, you joke about the strapping, but I do actually think that part of that is him carrying 17 blokes until Walsh got drafted. Ooh. So, I mean, poor guy. That guy's back is primed, I tell you. Oh. Well, you mentioned some Pies guys. There is a guy there that I do enjoy watching, Taylor Adams. Tell us a bit about Taylor Adams, because this guy likes playing Carlton.
Yeah, look, I really like Taylor Adams. Like I just said about Patrick Cripps, Taylor Adams is a guy that you would want to lead you in a war. And I said that the same about Braden Maynard. It's just that bull, that sort of bull that we like when we think about football, when we think about the tackling and the getting hit hard and being able to bounce back up. Taylor Adams is that guy. The only sort of knock that we have on him is his disposal efficiency. He can rack him up. He's a good runner. He's a good around goal, but his kicking lets him down a little bit. Probably will be the next captain, but you ask any player, any supporter, what don't you like about Adams? And they say, yeah, his kicking just has to be cleaned up. But I really do enjoy watching him play, Pom.
Now, I'm with you. He's a guy that when he seems to play Carlton, he turns into Gary Ablett Jr. as well. He seems to manage to find the ball with ease and just do what he wants.
Yeah. No, he does.
Big pain in the bum.
Yeah, no, we know that. We've seen that a couple of times. But look, another guy that loves playing against Carlton and in this hypothetical Angel, high T, is Jordan Ngoe. If he gets his head right, if Craig McRae finds the right mix for him between forward and mid, he could also be, and it wouldn't be put it past anyone to call him a future Brownlow medalist, because he has the ilk, he has the silk, but he just doesn't do it for sustained periods. Like we see, didn't Walsh poll like 30 votes, 30 Brownlow votes and stuff, and Ngoe can do that, and he has, he's 25 now, so he should be hitting his prime like a Petrarca. So that's another guy that you can't really go past either.
He's a very good player. He is a good player. Poor Jordan. Hey, I mean, what can I say? I can't say many nice things about him. Bless him. But I mean, the old Jersey boy himself. But I mean, to make some cases for Carlton, I think you can't go past. You've mentioned him, Sam Walsh.
No, you can't.
No,
I'm not even going to argue with that. You just can't go past him.
In my opinion, I'm not even using my Carlton head. I'm using my football head. I do think he's the most complete midfielder in the competition already, which I think is scary when he's in his third year.
Yeah, and that's one thing that not many of us sort of realize. He's still so young. He has so much growing to do, and look, we talked about Cripps carrying the team. Walsh did it last year when Cripps couldn't, and that's a lot. What is he? Not would be 2021 at the moment.
Yeah, he's only a baby.
Yeah, so that's a lot of pressure, but it looks like he thrives on that pressure.
We did a video on him recently, just dropped today on Blue Abroad, and we did actually liken him to Pendlebury in his ability just to control the game, never be rushed. Just he does his own thing, and it's when he's in the mood, he can take the game away from you with a few touches. And yeah, I think it would be a dream to see him learn from Pendles, because I think that's something Pendles has been through you guys through the worst and the best. And he's always been that guy that is the bar setter for the rest of the midfield. But Walsh definitely would be a lock, I think, in this team.
100%. Yeah. Lock it in, Bob.
Well, I mean, I'll give you Taylor Adams. My jury's still out on Jordan, though.
What's your biggest knock on Jordan, that he can't do it for an extended period of time? Or because look, the thing I like about Jordan as well, because he's that dual position player, he can kick 6 goals when you need him to, or he can get those 7 clearances and 25 touches when you want him to as well. It just depends where you use him, and you got to use him right. You know what I mean?
I'll give you. I think if we take his personal life aside, his football ability, his football ability, without a shadow of a doubt for me, he could be a Dustin Martin 2017 footballer. You saw it against us round 2. He can take the game away. Like, really, you were bad round 2. We were horrible. But the big difference was De Goey was unplayable. He was doing what he wanted when he wanted. And he is that type of player that if he's in the right situation, the right scenario, I think with De Goey, it is like you say, isn't it? Can McFly provide that atmosphere for him to thrive?
Yeah, it's just so hard. Like I said, and Petrarca is just the best example for it. Where Petrarca was doing good and he had spurts and stuff, but these last 2 seasons, he's just really just taking his game to the next level, and you see that with the premiership, and it wasn't just like he was a premiership because he was one of the 23 players. He was their main cog, and he wasn't only just getting disposals, he was kicking goals as well. And that's what Jordan, and he's the same age as Jordan, I'm pretty sure. So that's something that he needs to aspire to.
Yeah, no, I think you've converted me. I think with the guidance of Cripps, Pendlebury, Doc, surely we could sort De Goey out between them all. Surely,
just got to slap him a few times, and he should be right.
Do you know what I mean? Surely. And I suppose then we're going down to the last things. I'm a huge fan of Adam Cherry. When I look at the Collingwood guys you've got left, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you have someone who's classy like Adam Cherry.
What position does Cherry play? Remind me.
Well, usually he plays, if you go by Fremantle, it's half on the ball, half out wide.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of like a Lipinski.
Kind of like a Lipinski.
Inside and on the wing as well.
Yeah, and he also has that option because we've got a few floaters down the back. He does like to live off half back for a bit as well if you need a bit of ball use. So I think he's the Swiss Army knife.
Okay. Yep. Kind of like what the argument that I made for Pendlebury as well. That you can kind of swap him out.
So we've got nice rotation.
Yep, I'm down with that.
I do hate to say it. I do want Nick Dacos in this team.
I don't see why we can't fucking just slide him in there, mate.
Tell you what, let's slide him in. So, I mean, you see, look at that. My love for Dacos has been clouded.
Nothing will beat that. I think you jumped on a live or you tweeted it when you said watching Nick Dacos play was like listening to the Beatles for the first time. And that's resonated with me ever since.
I've got to say, you have got one hell of a football. He is. You know when people say don't believe the hype? I've seen that from a few Pies guys. Oh, wait till he's there.
Yeah.
Believe the hype. The kid is a freak.
It's those guys, they're the ones that say, oh, don't put too much pressure on him. It's like, he shouldn't go number one. It's just like, if he's the best kid, he goes number one. All the kids have pressure on them to perform, It's Collingwood supporters, they're a little bit here and there, but
it was the same with Carlton with Walsh. I mean, here's the backline. It is a dream backline, isn't it? I mean, midfield, sorry.
Look, and having Dacos, you could even have him as, if say this is a round one team, you could even have him as a medical substitute. If we haven't seen him play like that, but that's, those 6 guys there, not with Dacos at the moment, two captains of the 2 biggest AFL clubs at the moment. Taylor Adams, who's just gone a bull. Sam Walsh, who can win a game, like you said, just off a couple of touches. Degoe, if he's got his head right, 6 goals, 6 clearances, and Chera rotating off the half back on the wing as well. You'd absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, and then we've got, I mean, imagine this team in for the next 10 years as well. Walsh, Dacos together.
Yeah, that's and even Dacos learning off Walsh, a number 1 pick. 3 years in, and people have got him. Bookies have got him top 5 or all ready to go for the Brownlow next year. 3rd year and getting 30 votes. That's definitely something that Dacos can aspire to.
I mean, tell you what, it's a tasty one, and then we go to where the business end is doing, and here's your rabble. There's some interesting characters here.
Oh yeah, you said it best, mate. There's forward line has always been a problem for Collingwood ever since Clokey left, and we know that Clokey he wasn't always good off the boot, but he was that big presence, and we missed that big presence. Bo McCreary, we've got a couple of young kids. We've got Bo, Trent Bianco, Ollie Henry, and Will Kelly. On paper, this forward line, isn't too bad. It's probably our weakest spot, but any Collingwood supporter will tell you that. Bo McCreary, what I like about him is he is a tackling machine. He will make not even first contest or second. He'll get up and make a 3rd or 4th contest, and he just plays. He plays like his life absolutely depends on it. Jamie Elliott, you can't knock him. He plays taller than he should. We beat Adelaide because he scored 6 goals upon returning from injury. Obviously got injured against your boys. Mason Cox, what's there to say about Coxie? When he's on, well, actually, you know what? Without Wiedering against him, I think Coxie might do all right in this team. Trent Bianco as well, young kid, could be a future captain. Ollie Henry, Myercheck, and Will Kelly we haven't really seen much of because of his injury. So, like I said, this forward line is a bit. It's a bit. Have you seen that meme where they're drawing the horse in 3 sections and it's all beautiful and their head's kind of like, I forgot how to draw. It's kind of what the forward line looks like, and any Collingwood supporter will tell you that. So please don't come for me in the comments.
I've got to say, Bo McCreary as well. He looks like every time I've ever had a plumber to my house, he looks like The Apprentice.
100%. I think, and looks like he plays in a heavy metal band on the weekends as well.
Yeah, it looks like when the main plumber leaves and they leave The Apprentice here, and he goes down to the shops, and I ask him a question. He's like, "Yeah, this is just my day gig on the night time. I drum in a band."
100%. That's probably Bo McCreary to a T.
Because also Ollie Henry looks like every Sparky's apprentice.
We're a jack of all trades, the Collingwood forward line, master of none, but jack of all of them.
I'd imagine this forward line could do a real good house runner for cheap.
Well, I think Brody Myercheck at the moment is this is just a weird plug, but he's got a cafe with a couple of the other Collingwood boys in Hawthorn. So he is doing a renovation at the moment to a cafe in Hawthorn. So you're right there.
I was going to say, nailed it. Well, who's the guy we're keeping?
Out of all these, it would be Jamie Elliott.
You see, I couldn't agree more. And my wife, if she watched this video, would hate me to say anything bad about him because that is her crush in the AFL. She has, for some reason, an inane crush on Jamie Elliott.
I've got a crush on Jamie Elliott as well, so I can see where she's coming from.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So she'd be fuming if I didn't pick him in a dream team. Well, let's look at the sexy-looking Roosters that are our boys, well, my boys. got some great players here as well. We've got the best looking player probably in the history of the game in Charlie Curnow. Half man, half machine, half amazing, which is a third. We've got Matt Owies. We've got Big Owies. We've got Corey Durden, the new kid. We've got Harry Lethal Mackay. We've got the legend that is Jackie Martin. David Cunningham, who looks 12. And J-Sauce, the icon. You can't have a football team without a Silvani. They are official AFL guidelines. Some good players here. Good players here.
That's it's look again, because I don't watch a lot of Carlton games, obviously, because I really couldn't give two stuffs about you guys during the season. But always where's that super white dude in the middle? Where's he from? You said he's a new recruit.
Corey Durden. He made his debut last season. We drafted him the season prior.
Okay.
But he's literally started to cement his place. Little pressure forward, little nagger.
Yeah. And Mackay, obviously, like with Wiedering, like with Moore, 17 other clubs will be, and probably because he just was out of contract, right? So 17 other clubs probably did put a contract offer into him because he's that type of player. Did he lead the Coleman as well? 50 odd goals or something, just absolutely nuts. I'd give my firstborn son away to have someone like Mackay on my team.
He is the guy as well that I am bringing over to this side. I think that you can't argue that as well. I mean, the guy is a freak, and he's done it in a midfield last year that at times had the distribution of a corrupt African government. So, and he still did it. So, I mean, he's phenomenal. And the midfield we've picked, I think Harry would be earmarking himself for 100 goals a year, wouldn't he?
Yeah, 100%. He'd kick 100 before finals, mate. With that midfield getting to him, like he's just a man mountain, and I honestly do like watching him, not against us, but I do like watching him play and the highlights of him and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd have him in 100% a lock.
He does have his moments, does old Has. He's a good guy as well.
Yeah, and he was doing that he was doing that speed run thing with Adams and Tommy Wilson and Scott Pendlebury, and he was taking a couple of seconds off his 20-meter sprint and his quickest time, so he's going to be even quicker next season, and that's scary. That's scary for our opposition.
He's deceptively tall as well. I know that he is really tall, but when you actually see him in person, he does look a lot taller than what you think. It's scary tall.
Anyone in person looks a lot taller to me, mate. So that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's tough. I mean, let's talk about the pies. I've got to say, Mason Cox, I don't want him in this team, but his Twitter is brilliant.
Cox is a good personality. Seems like the nicest dude ever. You know, the football is a knock because obviously he didn't grow up with it, so that's fine. That doesn't really matter, but. You know, and you talked about your Carlton boys giving Mackay the distribution of a corrupt African government. You know, and that's like Collingwood going to Cox. We just didn't know how to play him. Hopefully, McRae, you know, touted as one of the best kicks in the AFL. Hopefully, that can change a little bit because you know when you've got a dude that's 12 foot tall and you're throwing it, you're kicking the ball to his knees, he's not going to get that. Or if you're going to kick it to him and he's got 5 players on him, you know, there's just really no point. We just played him really wrong. I'm going to make the argument that, look, although he is a little bit, you know, on like seesawing between good games and bad games, with the midfield that we picked, like you said from Mackay, I think they could hit him. They could hit him up really, really well, especially with Cripps, and especially with Walshy as well.
I hear you, but I also think if you look at Carlton, the first guy, everyone forgets him. And in my opinion, I think he's the most talented tall forward in the competition in Charlie Curnow. Not many people can kick from 60 off one's foot. He can.
But can he keep himself on the park, though? That's the thing.
Well, I think if we're forgiving Jordan De Goey for wearing nightgowns in nightclubs, I think we can forgive Charlie for having a kneecap.
Look, I can't really because he has been injured and stuff, and you obviously I know that you absolutely adore Curnow. I'm just going to have to I was trying to think of a funny joke, but I can't think of anything. But I'm just gonna have to back you in, mate, with Curnow. If that's what you want to do, it's Christmas. I'm feeling very merry. I'm feeling jolly. So I'm gonna back you in, mate.
I mean, you can't possibly, even though it's Christmas, make an argument for Mason Cox over Charlie Curnow. I mean, look at him. He's an Adonis.
If we're going off looks, then yeah, 100%.
I thought that's how we were picking this team.
Oh shit! I gotta go redo my team. I want Lipinski in all 23 spots if possible.
Well, I mean, we've got 3 so far. I mean, the other case I'd make is I know you guys are a work in progress, but we've got Jamie Elliott who likes to drop deep, come for the ball, come looking for it. He can play on tall players. I think we need a bit of a conduit between midfield and forward line. I would make a case for Jackie Martin.
Yep. Yeah.
The Indigenous superstar that he is.
Yeah, a Gold Coast Sun alumni. And yeah, look, he started off a little bit slow with you guys, but I think he kicked, correct me if he kicked a bag against us, didn't he? I don't know if it was round 2 or that second game that we played you, but he can turn it on when he wants to as well. And I think the conduit that like you're talking about, look, it's going to be hard for me to really make a case for a lot of these guys in our forward line. A lot of the Collingwood players, in this hypothetical forward line. So I'd be happy with Jack Martin if I can get Brody Mychek in there as well.
Well, I was going to say, Checkers, a good VFL graduate, isn't he? He came to the game a bit later. Yep. He has been super impressive, and Carlton do like a 3 tall system, and he kind of suits that 3rd tall, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%. Like, the thing I like about Checkers is that he came to the club as from Port Melbourne. He was a premiership player. He was a centre half backman, premiership centre half back. He came in to fill a forward role that we didn't have because Mason Cox went down, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves me correctly. And he hasn't looked back since. He's got the biggest quads you'll ever see on a football field, quadzilla. But I like the way he goes about it. And the thing I like about Checkers as well is how we used to play him. I can't really attest to what McRae would do. He is a running machine. He'll rack up the kilometers. He'll go up to the wing, waiting for that ball, and he'll even bring it in. He'll be goal assist, getting the kicks into the forward line as well. But he can take a great mark, and he's a really, really good set shot for goal. Not too much last year, but other than last year, he's led our goal kicking for the last 3 or 4 years.
No, I've got to agree with you. Every time I've watched Mychek, like unlike you, I don't mind watching Collingwood games because I've got a lot of Collingwood mates. So I do watch every game, and he's a guy that always stands out, is Brody Mychek. He does stand out to me, especially the last couple of years where you haven't had a forward. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of playing a really undersized key forward role.
Yeah.
He makes it work.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. He's playing as our first or second tall when we don't have that, and in a system with Mackay and Curnow as a 3rd tall, he'd be dominating. And he just unblocked me on Instagram. So yeah, I think we need to put him in.
Why did he block you?
Because when I started Swoop Luke, all the YouTube videos and all the sort of things are telling you when you put up a photo, make sure you tag everyone and stuff. So I was just tagging all the players in their photos that I was putting up, and it probably got a little bit annoying. So actually, can we take Taylor Adams out? He still has me blocked. So
he was on your show.
Yeah, I know, but that was off Twitter. So he hasn't got me blocked on Twitter, so it's not too bad. But
I think Taylor sorted it out. Taylor sorted it out. You might be tough at footy, but I'll tell you what, you haven't come across a pom after 3 or 4 pints.
Mychek sounds good. So was that 4 players?
Yeah. 5. Well, 5. So we need 2 more. And I would say looking at Collingwood, there isn't much tackle pressure.
So that's why we need Bo McCreary.
Well, I don't know. We need our pipes checking, do we? I was looking at. There's 2 that I've penciled, but I'll give you my first name: Jack Silvani, Mr. Pressure, Mr. Carlton. a man for all seasons. There's no one that personifies intensity like Jack. And he has my favourite moment against you ever in 2019, where he actually pushes Scott Pendlebury. And I was sat right in front of this. Pushed Scott Pendlebury. Scott Pendlebury went to retaliate and he ran and hid behind the umpire, which was one of my favourite moments in the history of life, because it reminded me of my little brother used to do that to me. Give me a kidney punch and then run behind my parents and be like, you can't get me here. This is safe. So I admire a man who does that. I respect that.
Yeah, look, Silvani, the only look, like I've been saying, the only sort of Carlton that I watch is when we play you guys, and if I'm watching highlights on Fox or whatever it is. So I can't really attest to Silvani as a pressure player. He's pretty tall though, is he not? But he must be quick though.
Well, I'd say the thing with Jack is Jack's not very quick. Is Jack Silva? I'd say that's the last thing you described. Now I think he's quick thinking though. One thing that he's deceptive at 190. He's very, very deceptive in his ability to be in the right place, get his hands. He's like his dad. He's all arms and legs. So you never get a clean possession with Jack, and it's why he's so valued by the Carlton fraternity, because he never gives up. He will chase you until he dies or gets you. They're the two options.
Well, that's exactly what we need in this forward line. And I feel the exact same way about – look, and that's a pretty tall forward line with those four Mackay, Curnow, Silvani, and Checkers. I think we do need someone closer to the ground like a Bo McCreary who, look, he won't kick 2 goals a game for you, but he will have so many one percenters. He will, like I said before, not only is he getting to the first or second or third contest, he'll go to the fourth contest until he's throwing up on the sidelines, because like he is playing like his life. I haven't seen a player, especially for Collingwood, play like their life depends on it. And with these kids, these young kids, sometimes their life does depend on it, because the senior players are playing good in the VFL and they want to come in, and these kids want to keep their spot and they want to be playing at the G in front of 70, 80,000 people. And Bo, he just personifies everything that Collingwood kind of stands for.
You know what? Because it's Christmas and you let me have Charlie, I'll let you have the plumber, because I was mean to him at the start of the show. I mean, he is a plumber's apprentice. Like, Bo does do an apprenticeship with a guy called Alf. That's facts. Like, you've got to hear first. But this is the forward line. I think it looks quite tasty, because we've got Jamie Elliott, so we've finally got someone with a tattoo, which is important. We've got Harry, Charlie, Jack, Brody, Jack, a few Jacks in this team, and we got Bo. That's quite a tasty forward line.
It's good, and like I said, the forward line for Collingwood, it was going to be hard to argue for more than 3 players. Trent Bianco is going to be a star. Ollie Henry is going to be a star as well, really good. But these 3 guys for Collingwood are guys that you'd have in your forward line, but you can't go past Harry. Jack, when he's on his game, is Jack Martin. When he's on his game, he's good, and Ed, because I love you, Pom. That's why I'll let you put him in.
And we've got Bo McCleary, because I love you. Like, honestly, I can't believe he's a footballer. Like, honestly, looking at that picture,
I'd love to know because he'd have to do a trade, 100%. I
bet his dad's a plumber. Like, DM him after this and go, "What's your dad doing?" He'll be like, "He's a plumber, mate." And you'll be like,
100%. He was right.
Well, we got one position to fill, and I reckon this will be the most toughest debate because obviously you've got this guy, Brodie Grundy. Tell us a bit about Brodie Grundy.
Oh man,
he's not bad, is he?
Look, what isn't there to say about Brodie Grundy? Look, there's a lot of knock on him. He can get 70 hit outs, but how many are to advantage and stuff like that. But All Australian twice, I think, in the last couple of years. His 2018 and 2019 were just next level, something you haven't seen for a ruckman in a long time. What I like about Grundy as well is that he's not just a ruckman; he is a freaking tall midfielder as well. He can kick a goal. He loves a goal on a big occasion. He's got a great running capacity, so he can run a lot, and he's a good ruckman. Look, the only knock on him would be that his taps to advantage, but that's also a knock on the midfield and not being able to read his taps. But he usually taps it to Sammy Walsh anyway, so it should be pretty easy.
Well, I mean, Walsh should love playing with him. I mean, it's a tough one because obviously, for those who don't know, this is Carlton's ruckman and Tom DeConing, and I've got the horrible job of trying to make a case for this. Like TDK hopefully will one day become probably more of a Max Gorn type. Likes to fall behind the ball, likes to go up forward. Definitely, like you say, Grundy's strength is he's a midfielder. He's basically, once he's done his ruck work, he's a midfielder all of a sudden. And how many ruckmen in the league can get you 25, 30 touches as well as 25, 30 hit outs?
And that's the thing, and he loves a clearance as well. He loves a clearance. And
so as much as I love TDK, I can't even make an argument for him.
Nah, this one was an easy dub.
I mean, apart from he's called Tom, and we need a good English name in there. But I mean, but in my opinion, I'll give a bit of kudos because I've got to say I love Grundy as well. Like if you check his Instagram out, his talks on mental health, the way he talks to kids as well, it encourages them to stay in school and follow the dreams. He's not just a footballer, is he? We've got to humanize these players, and he's a very intelligent young man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He kind of transcends football. He's what a modern footballer is now, and he came out and said that in 2017 when they had that doco, Buckley wanted them. Buckley used to breathe football, eat and breathe it 24/7, and that didn't resonate with Grundy, and he didn't want to. He clashed heads with Buckley in that 2017 period because outside of football, he just wants to turn off. And I just love the way he goes about it. I love the way he thinks. Like you said, Pom, he's such a good role model. All the sort of hard work that he does off the field. He just seems like he knows what he wants. And football is a big part of his life, but it's not the only part of his life. And you're right when we have to humanize these guys as well.
Yeah, I've got to say, I watch his Insta lives, and I think the fact he has so open conversations. I think we need more of this from everyone, not just sportsmen. But I think for a man like him who plays the game tough and he's open, in my opinion as well, I think he's the best ruckman in the competition. I know Max Gorn's had a good year, but in my opinion, he can do things that Gorn hasn't even thought
of. Like we said, who's going to get you 30 hit outs, 25 disposals, 4 clearances, and maybe a cheeky goal every now and then. He's the complete package. Like I said, not only a modern footballer and a great mind, but what a modern ruckman is now. They're not the big bulking types like they used to be. They have to be able. They have to just. They can't just punch the ball 30 meters and then just sit on the bench. They've got to be able to chase it, be able to get down, be able to kick a goal. You absolutely can't go past Grundy.
Mate, he's one of the best in the league, and I think we can both agree that the guy is pretty special, isn't he?
100%. There's not much more I can say. I've expelled everything I want to say about him. I absolutely love him. I honestly, I adore him. Like he seems like the most down to earth, genuine bloke you'd ever meet if had the chance to meet him.
Hopefully, you get him on the show and tell him that Pom secretly loves you, Brody.
Fingers crossed.
Well, he is the joint team then. So this was agreed backline. As we can see, real strong backline. I mean, that is Premiership class, isn't it?
Like we said right at the start, this, they say defense wins your games. This defense wins you premierships. The strong head of Doherty and Howe being a part of the older sort of, the older sort of generation up there. Sard's run, Crisp's run, Wiedering's just a monster, and Darcy Moore's intercepting and Maynard as well. That's a premiership winning defense.
There's a fair few possessions there as well, because Wiedering's added that to his game like Moraz. He hits that 20 every so often, and the rest of them all can get 20 just by turning up. So few possessions down back.
No, 100%. And all these guys want to move the game on. They don't want to just sit back, spoil the ball out and then kind of slow. Darcy Moore will play on any chance he gets. Chris will play on any chance he gets. Wiedering does it, when he's able to as well,
Mate, that backline's good. And then it gets even better in the midfield because we've got the combination of class, experience, brute strength, good poster boy looks. And Taylor Adams looking a little bit like an extra in a Hobbit movie. But, I mean, apart from that, some real good guys and John the Goey.
Yeah. In this hypothetical, they're all sipping high tea on a New York in a New York apartment with little fairy cakes and stuff like that. So it's all good. But look, and I've talked about my Collingwood boys all video. Sammy Walsh, at the moment when there's no football on and I'm kind of relaxed and kind of chill, I just had a drink. I love Walsh. I love the way he goes about it. Third year. Cripps as well. You just got to give kudos to Cripps for doing what he did in a team there's no beating around the bush. He really dragged you guys to games, to win games and dragged you over the line. Pendlebury, Adams, you can't go past them. And, of course, Nicky Dacos as well.
We've got some good kids there, haven't we? I tell you, can you imagine Walsh and Dacos when they both hit their peak together?
Dual Brownlow medalist every single year, mate, for the next 10 years.
Tell you what, it's a tasty. And then we went to the forward line where we've got a lot of goals, a lot of pressure, a bit of X factor. We've got it all here, haven't we? And we've also got a dude at the end who can do your pipes half price on a weekend for a cashy.
Hey, sometimes you need your pipes flushed out, mate.
You do. Indeed, you do. Especially when you get older as well. You got to get them checked every so often. So, and we start off with Jamie Elliott as well, because it's one thing that I always have a complaint about. No one at Carlton, apart from Zach Williams, really has tattoos.
Well, hopefully, we can kind of bring that. I've actually bought a tattoo gun, so if Kerno wants to hit me up, just Swoop Luke on Insta. I'll come tattoo you, mate. I'm not any good, but I'll come tattoo you.
Charlie Kerno looks like on his shoulder he needs like a tribal tattoo or something, doesn't he?
He's got really he's got like swimmer shoulders, doesn't he? He's really big here.
You could see some like David Beckham wings on them backs, couldn't you?
I wouldn't put it past him. He'd look good with. I think Travis Cloak had wings as well on his back.
All the best do. It's like a poster boy bit of it. It's what you need. Bo as well. He's got the skin that needs tattoos. Darken himself up a bit.
Got a lot of leg tattoos, but he needs. It's a prerequisite to have at least one tattoo when you get to Collingwood.
He looks like the kind of guy that I went to school with that got his first girlfriend tattooed on him, and about a week later she left him.
Man, that's I wouldn't put it past Bo. Poor dude.
we all know a guy, and then obviously in the forward line we've done, and then obviously in the ruck there was no argument. We had the legend that is Brodie Grundy. Great team, isn't it?
It is actually. Look, and I watched your one with True Footy as well, and West Coast have got a bunch of good players, but this is a good fusion team. Look, an example that I can give you of another good fusion team is when Goku and Vegeta fused together in Dragon Ball Z, and they became what was it, Gogeta or something, and they were freaking powerful. I think they hit like Super Saiyan 4. This is what that team is now. This team is God mode. This team.
I tell you what, that is a niche reference as well. I tell you what, Terry says I make niche references. That is as niche gets. I love it though. I instantly get what you mean.
Yeah, it's a great. I don't think Carlton will find a better matchup to fuse with than the Pies. It was very evenly balanced. It wasn't like 5 Collingwood players and 1 Carlton player in one of the line. It was like literally Collingwood, Carlton, Collingwood, Carlton, Collingwood, Carlton. It was very, very even, and it says a lot about our top end talent.
It's a beautiful team, and I think it's a nice team. And obviously, those who are new to the channel, please go and check Swoop Luke I. He does some great stuff. He is a Collingwood boy, but I mean, there's all sorts there. There's guitars, banter, bit of rap. You do all sorts, don't you? So give it a plug as well. Give your socials a plug for us.
Yeah, look, I know I'm pandering to a lot of Carlton fans at the moment, and look, and Pom again, thank you so much for having me on. I love what you do. I love what Terry does. Blue Abroad, just all those guys. It's banter off season now, so it's a little bit nicer. Follow me on Instagram, Swoop Luke, Twitter, Swoop Luke, YouTube, Swoop Luke. If you want to learn more about the Pies, and if you want to see this ugly mug once a week, just talk shit about Collingwood, and yeah, we'll go on this journey together. But Pom, again, yeah, thank you so much. It's a little nice Christmas present. It's always brilliant to have a chat with you, mate.
No, mate, I love it. And Merry Christmas to everyone watching. Merry Christmas to you, Luke, as well. And I look forward to the new year and restoring our rivalry where we're not so nice to each other.
100%, and a nice 2 games coming up, so it's beautiful. Pom, Merry Christmas. Everyone on Pommyinoz's channel, Merry Christmas. Peace and love to you all.